Quick announcement, tentatively be online retreat, March 3rd through the 5th. And I should have that live hopefully by the end of the weekend to register on the website. Yes. So let me just see who's here. Okay, good. Seems like we've all been here before. Yes, and some returning faces. So good to be with you. Good to have you back. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, why don't we start with this? I will invite you all just to shut down your eyes and begin to breathe deeply and fully, unhooking from your mind. And I'm going to invite you to join me in experiencing the peace, the spaciousness of this moment directly. So can you experience peace and the spaciousness of this moment directly? Can you merge fully into the peace that is here? And so the peace that's here, it's big, it's vast, it's wide. All of life takes place in it. In a similar way, if we were all fish in the water, I'd be inviting you to experience the water. The water. So the water allows for everything in the ocean. The space allows for everything that is here, outside of you, within you. And can you join me in experiencing directly? So that means we're not thinking about what I should or shouldn't be experiencing. We are feeling into the direct presence of space, of peace. Space of your consciousness. And next, I'm going to invite you just to scan your body and to notice if there's a place within you that's in any kind of pain or tension, maybe if it's just a subtle pain. And can you experience that directly? The holding, the tension, and to experience tension without any judgment at all. Without any judgment at all. So we're breathing, we're feeling, and we are opening directly. Fully allowing and fully experiencing tension. And if you give yourself permission to melt into tension, you may soon begin to discover, if you really let go and merge into tension, that tension actually feels spacious. Spacious. That there's space within tension. And then let's have some fun with the Kundalini. If you feel into your spine, if you feel into your 7 chakra centers, And just notice, just pick one of the centers that may have a little bit of pressure there, heat, or something uncomfortable. And can you give yourself permission to breathe into it, to step into it, to merge directly with the center, with the feeling of pressure, becoming deeply intimate. The feeling of pressure or intensity, and taking one more step and opening further. And beginning to notice the direct experience of spaciousness within pressure, within tension. So softening and opening and feeling. And if you have something really stubborn, like if you have fatigue, if you have heartache, if you have despair, I invite you just to imagine that there's no walls between you and it. If you just step right into it. Maybe a subtle fear that this thing will gobble you up, but if you just feel it directly, without any judgment. Open to it. Become profoundly intimate with what is here. And just noticing what your direct experience is. Direct experience. As we soften, as we open, what is my direct experience? Can I feel space and peace, even within something I would normally label as difficult? And so with that, you can continue to breathe and open, maybe smile a little bit. As I welcome you into this space, you can open your eyes if you like. You don't have to, though. So on the path of Kundalini awakening, one of the great gifts that Kundalini is inviting for us is for us to open and to relate, to experience ourselves, this world, directly. And so this is going to be quite different than how we normally experience the world or ourselves. Normally, we experience the world and ourselves through the filter of our own mind, filter of our egoic nature. And one of the things we learn through the practice of meditation is how to experience life directly, as it is. And the gift of Kundalini is basically God is coming into you, awakening within you, and is wanting you to have a spiritual experience all the time. as a question may become, well, how do I live from the perspective of spiritual experience, the spiritual view of life instead of an egoic view? The spiritual view is that I experience life directly. Directly, I am one with life. I am one with my experience. And I don't identify with this middleman, this middle one who wants to comment and judge and tell me what I like and what I don't like and say yes to one thing and no to another. One of the things that Kundalini is trying to get you awaken to is to experience your life directly. No middleman, no commentator, but just to experience directly. And there's this great gift that happens when we truly let go and allow ourselves to experience life directly. We see that all of life is made of one substance. Now, there's a little bit of a gateway here, a little gatekeeper, is that when you first open to your experience, you tend to feel more. And we tend to feel more pain. We tend to, just feel more pain. And so a lot of people, they don't want to feel more. They actually want to feel less. Like that's the egoic desire is, I don't want to feel. Or I only want to feel things that feel really, really good. Like a big, delicious slice of chocolate cake in my mouth. And so our egoic nature, it wants to feel one way, but then it has this big game that it plays. It says, I want to feel one way, but not the other way. And if we allow for this game to take place, not the other way, I don't want to feel the other way, we put a wall between us and life. And the great gift of Kundalini is that Kundalini wants you to become one with life, wants you to realize that you are one with life, that you are literally made of light. And then just take that a step further, that everything is made of light, is made of space, is made of intelligence. Satchidananda. Now, in order to have this experience directly all the time, we have to be willing to feel that which we don't want to feel. We have to be willing to experience life directly. 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 It requires courage. It requires a willingness to feel and to be radically open. And I can tell you, nothing makes the movement and the evolutionary flow of Kundalini more happy than when you have this willingness, a willingness to feel and experience life directly. And nothing makes Kundalini more upset, more confused, more distraught than when you don't want to experience life directly. Because basically Kundalini is this great force of divinity. It's wanting to flow through openness. And if we meet that energy with one giant no, I don't like you, I don't understand you, I don't know you, then begins this inner war inside of pressure and heat and purification. But if we just allow the energy to flow, we very quickly see, oh, this is blissful. Oh, this is heavenly. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, this is hot. Oh, this is spacious. Oh, this is peaceful. and brilliant. And so it requires a great willingness. A great willingness. And, I'm someone who, for one reason or another, have just had a body that's been, in a real sense, just racked with chronic pain throughout my life, just through the way I used my body, the extreme sports I got engaged with, the amount of work, physical work, just like building. Even yesterday we got 3 feet of snow where I live, and it's just shoveling. And, I'm someone who's lived with chronic pain. I've had a head injury. I've had all kinds of things in life. And the thing about pain, when it's persistent, is, anytime you have pain, you have a choice, either to resist it, to numb it out, with a painkiller, to distract yourself, or to open to it. And, I'm from the school of thought, I don't like to take pills. I don't really take pills. And so I thought, well, have tried the distraction. I've tried to transcend it, tried to ignore it. What if I open to it? And the great gift that I've discovered time and time again, whether it's opening to intense heat or pain or anger or rage or, let's say, chronic fatigue, is whenever I open to anything, I find at its heart, there is space, there is peace, there is radiance. There's radiance. And I found this in the thing that everyone was fearing for so long. In COVID, I thought, oh, wow. Like, and the virus itself opening to it. Like, oh, it's made of light. It's spacious. Almost killed me, but that everything is made of light, is made of space, is made of peace. Everything. Whether we're opening to a mountain or pain, or we're opening to the sky. That's the invitation here through this path of Kundalini awakening, is, can I open to everything without the filter of mind? Now, when you open with the filter of mind, your mind will very quickly judge your experience. Will very quickly judge your experience. A little bit ago, I saw this article in Outside Magazine. It was, some woman went hiking in New Hampshire, and I think it was in the winter, and basically she got lost and died of exposure. And the mother was just noticing how many people judged her daughter. Were just so harsh and mean to the fact that her daughter went hiking alone and died. It's like, and like the title of the article is something like, why do we judge? Why do we judge, like, when there's disasters in the wilderness? And like a greater question is like, why do we judge? Like, why are we constantly judging our experience and trying to find something wrong, make something wrong, blaming someone or something? And with Kundalini, it's often we're either blaming ourselves, we're blaming God, or we're blaming Kundalini, blaming our body. And if we look at the dance of judgment, like if something big, if God is coming into you and trying to give birth into you, like, judgment doesn't help us in any way with the task at hand. Like judgment, it very rarely helps us. Like there's certain moments, like if you're walking out at night and it's dark, like I had to make a judgment call. Is it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I can't remember. Yesterday, the day before, a massive snowstorm, a blizzard. And I had little doodles. It was time for him to have his stitches taken out. It's like, okay, should I go risk my life to take doodles in to get his stitches taken out, or should I, wait another day and I'd have to cancel some people? And I was just like, I got this. I can do it. And it worked out just fine. I'm pretty good driving in the snow. I've done it long enough. But like most of the time, like, we don't need to be judging our experience. Like if we're laying in bed with chronic fatigue or anger or fear or pain, it is no way helpful to judge. What's helpful is to open and to experience directly. As soon as we judge, we're in our egoic mind. If we open and directly experience what's here, then the energy begins to move, it begins to empty, begins to transmute. But it takes great courage to open to something that doesn't feel good, or something that is simply unknown. Because one of the things about the ego is sometimes with our experience, especially with Kundalini, we're opening to realms that are unknown. And our ego just does this, it just kind of does this thing is, if it's something that we don't know what it is, it labels it as bad and painful immediately. And because we've labeled it bad and painful, oftentimes we have a bad and painful experience. But what I've found time and time again is if I open to something, quote unquote, bad and painful, like my attachment, and I don't run away with a voice of attachment, like this shouldn't have happened, this person is wrong. But if I open to it and let it burn, I find peace and love and radiance. Peace and love and radiance. With chronic fatigue, peace and love and radiance. And sometimes it's peace and love and radiance I'm experiencing directly. And then in a secondhand way, the body is also crying and grieving. And that's a funny, humbling experience where you open to the Buddha nature of life, but also sometimes the body needs to go through its motions and have a good cry or moan or ache. But this space allows for it all. Allows for the continual unfolding of it all. And so anyways, I'm going to invite you all just to play with this. I can remember the first time when I was sitting and I was just really feeling into the nature of thought. I noticed that, like on a real gross level, like some thoughts felt terrible. Like if you have a mean, judgmental thought, it feels terrible. And when you have a loving thought like gratitude, it's like, oh, that feels really good. But there's one day when I took it a step deeper and I experienced like the essence of the thought directly. A horrific thought and a beautiful thought. And I began to realize, oh, in the horror, there's the same peace and space and light and love as there is in the wonderful thought. The way the Buddha taught about this is it's called the falling away of the pairs of opposites. When you truly open to life and experience it directly, without any intermediary of mind, any commenting mind, when you experience life directly, whether it's Kundalini, whether it's resistance to Kundalini, whether it's one thought or another thought, whether it's falling in love or being brokenhearted, when you experience it directly, with nothing in between. You experience that all life is made out of one fabric. It's basically space, peace, light, love, intelligence. Satchidananda is the way it's often spoken about in the realm of yoga. And so anyways, I invite you to play with this, just to play with this skill of being courageously open to beautiful things, and that's easy, but also things that are quite difficult.